There are 235 million people in need of humanitarian assistance globally, with the majority of those needs driven by violent conflict. The Eastern Mediterranean region is home to 43% of people who need humanitarian assistance and the source of 64% of the world's refugees. Violent trauma imposes a substantial disease burden on the region. 12 out of the 22 countries currently have conflict within their borders. Afghanistan now has the highest number of civilian casualties since WHO began documentation in 2009. Whilst the pattern of injury, particularly from airstrikes, will diminish, other forms of injury remain. For example, explosive remnants of war and IEDs remain an inherent threat to civilian populations. A recent assessment in Somalia by WHO revealed that over 40,000 people had been injured in 2020 alone. In 2018, over a 12-month period in the occupied Palestinian territory, over 28,000 people were injured directly as a result of the conflict. And in Syria, Health Cluster Partners supported over 740,000 trauma consultations in 2020. The numbers are reportedly increasing. The impact of trauma isn't restricted just to families and communities, but also has a substantial impact on the economy. The failure to fully rehabilitate the victims of violence into a useful role in society will result in a financial burden for the duration of their lives, both for their families and also for the state. A surge in trauma demands cannot be attributable solely to conflict, but also arises through natural and man-made disasters. Civilian trauma caused by these mass casualty incidents therefore remain a constant and inherent threat across the region. The WHO, through the Operational Trauma Initiative, aims to measurably improve health outcomes from trauma associated with humanitarian emergencies across the region. This initiative will emphasize the development of national capacity to provide comprehensive life-saving trauma services, coordinated through a dedicated regional trauma team. In several recent major humanitarian operations, WHO has stepped in to lead and coordinate the trauma response. In Iraq, WHO's trauma pathway reportedly saved somewhere between 1,500 and 1,800 lives during the Mosul operation in 2017. In Gaza, it is estimated that the enhanced trauma response saved between 435 to 1,227 lives over a period of 1 year. WHO's Regional Operational Trauma Initiative works to deliver a whole concept of field operations and investment in national structures, alongside operational research and investment in partnerships. You can also be involved in the WHO Trauma Initiative by requesting support to help build a trauma care system in your country, contribute to funding the initiative, or become part of a global roster of trauma experts for deployment. Injuries, both unintentional and violence-related, account for nearly 8% of all deaths around the world each year. The growing burden of trauma in current-day humanitarian emergencies can no longer be ignored.